Take two, Mike.
I was going to say take two.
Welcome back to another KellyCast game predictions video. Today we have 5 games on the slate for you. I hope you're excited. We're excited to talk about it twice.
Yeah, as my boss and your former boss does, I love doing things twice.
It's all good.
It's
all good, Mike. I'm all smiles today because right now I am beating you in the KellyCast game predictions this week.
And you shaved your balls for this, so.
I didn't know I was wearing this. Anyway, guys, on the slate today, some divisional contests, some teams that shouldn't be winless that are, and of course the Texas Cowgirls, whatever the team is over there. But we'll get to that there at the end of the video.
Talking about Houston, they played pretty good last week.
Not that one. Let's get right into a divisional matchup, Mike. This being the Ravens and Browns. Okay, Ravens are the away team. This game in Cleveland. The massage parlors can wait. I'm going to talk first here on Baltimore.
I'm still not taking the Browns. I'm just letting that out up front.
They lost last week to the Indianapolis Colts in a game where we both expected them to win. Everybody really picked the Ravens last week. Goes into overtime. 22-19 for the Colts. Justin Tucker, the best kicker in NFL history, just couldn't get them another victory with his leg in this one. But the offense, Mike, that's where the problems lie with Baltimore. Last week, Lamar Jackson threw for only 200 yards with no touchdowns and no interceptions through the air. On the ground, it was a different story, Mike, 100 yards and a rushing touchdown. In your rankings, in your head, do you put Lamar at that 10 slot? Is he a top 10 quarterback for you? Is he fringe?
I think he's, I mean, he's been talked about as a top quarterback since he's been in the league. He's won an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken his team to at least the AFC Championship game, right? Correct? Has he gotten there yet?
I don't think he's gotten there, but he got to the divisional.
Okay, at least the divisional. I mean, at one point, yes. Since he's gotten paid, no.
When you get a raise at work, are you allowed to do worse than what you were doing before?
I mean, in the corporate world, the saying goes, the more you get paid, the less you do. But, I mean, in the NFL, the more you get paid, you got to show up. And we haven't seen that yet this year, I don't think, from Lamar.
I agree. But one of the things they need to get right is Mark Andrews, a top 5 tight end. No doubt about it. I put him in usually the 3 slot. I go Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews. That's how my list goes.
Okay.
And he's only been targeted 5 times through 2 games. He was dealing with an injury, so I think that has something to do with it. But you need to get him more involved. They had a tough time last week in a divisional matchup this week against the Cleveland Massage Parlors. Tell us about your favorite team, Deshaun Watson and the Browns.
Favorite team in the whole world. Deshaun Watson showed up last week, didn't he? He had 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Good completion percentage.
He was tearing them up last week, and he's attempting to make me eat my words, but I still think he's a washed up quarterback who had a good game.
Not to mention, though, the defense held the Titans to only 3 points. We both picked the Titans last week. 1, because we hate picking the Browns, and 2, because we thought that the Titans could win this game.
Because they have a decent defense, and there was no way that the Browns were going to win with the way their offense was showing out, with Chubb's missing. I mean, that hurts. That hurts their game big.
100%.
And I forgot where I was going with that. So
I brought up the defense. I know you wrote down that the defense is, where are they ranked? 2 in the league.
2 in the whole entire league.
And a top 10 offense as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're there, I guess. But
as much as we want to dog on the Browns, they're sticking around in this, I don't want to say playoff thing, because I don't think that's what they are, but they're making it seem like they're better than what they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, they definitely. Who did they play the first 2 weeks again? Or the first 3 weeks?
Well, obviously, last week they played up against the Tennessee Titans.
Obvious.
And then the previous 2 weeks I can have for you here in just a second.
So
looks like it was the Steelers, who they lost to 26-22, and then obviously the Bengals, which they crushed 24-3.
which
So
was
really,
also surprising.
what you look at, the reason the Browns have a top 2 defense, they held 2 teams to only 3 points.
Right, which is crazy on a Burrow-led offense, even though the line is still kind of not there.
Do you remember when I told you the story of Khalil Mack wearing 46 at Buffalo? Because on the NCAA game, he was rated a 46, and he said, "This is crazy. I'm better than a 46." I think T. Higgins took that and said, "Oh, I'm going to play like a 5 overall. Give me number 5.
Yeah, he did not.
He's been struggling.
So well.
But Mike, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens this week. I think it's going to be tough. I think this is going to be hard fought. It might be a low scoring contest, and I want to pick Cleveland, but I can't trust them as much as I can trust Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
What was that? There was just a like that popped up on the screen.
Are we live?
No, we're not. You see the like button?
Yeah.
Let's keep going. I don't think we're live. I'm gonna let you make your prediction. I'm gonna go check.
That would be wild. My prediction, I already said it. I'm sticking with my not going to Browns, and maybe that's been their luck this year. Is me not going with them.
Well, don't make them lucky then. Maybe you need to make them. Maybe you need to pick them one of these times.
I probably should pick them one of these times, but it's not going to be against.
Not going to be today.
It's going to be a very defensive game, I feel like, and I think it's going to come down to Lamar and his legs because it can't be their running game anymore.
Yeah, both teams are going to be struggling to run the football. They both struggled last week. But let's move on. You say both teams, this is going to be a defensive game. How about we talk about some teams with terrible defenses? Minnesota Vikings and Carolina Panthers. This game in Carolina. We're not live, by the way. I have no idea what that was. So
that
whatever.
Crazy.
But you're wearing the Vikings jersey today. You wanted to talk about this team, the 0-3 Minnesota Vikings.
0-3, and just like in take one, I'm gonna ask again, how? When you
tell me why.
Hate that.
Tell me why.
I was looking for something to throw at you, but
there's a ball right here.
Too valuable. Just how are they 0-3 when you put up 35 plus each game they've played? And that answer to that is clearly their defense. Their 27 ranked defense
out of 32 teams, of course.
Out of 32 teams. What else is it? I mean,
you say they put up 35, Mike. They haven't put up 30 plus yet this year. They put up 17, 28, and 24 so far this season. So their offense isn't the electric storm that it was last year, but at the same time, putting up 24, 28, you should be able to get a victory there. They dropped one to the Eagles, right? Which makes sense. The Eagles are a really good team, but losing to the Bucs, inexcusable. They should have beat the Chargers after getting the possession on their own 24-yard line.
They're still ranked offense behind Buffalo and
Kansas City.
No, Kansas City is 4th.
Okay. Who's first?
The Dolphins.
Ew.
The Dolphins.
I don't recognize them as a football team. I don't know who you're talking about.
It's been a mind-blowing year so far.
See, I just want to take attention to the screen right now. Most of these graphics that I made have a offensive player and a defensive player. I could not think of a single Minnesota Vikings defensive player that deserved to be on a graphic, and that's why you see Justin Jefferson in the back there making a one-handed catch. But Mike, the Carolina Panthers also come into this contest 0-3. Last week they lost to the Seattle Seahawks 37-27. Wasn't that close. Andy Dalton started in that game because Bryce Young was dealing with an ankle injury. The report right now is that he will play this week after being a full participant in practice all week. But Carolina, in terms of good teams and bad teams and average, I put them right below average. 18th in rushing yards, 22nd in passing yards. There's nobody to talk about. There's nobody to talk about that's doing well. Maybe Adam Thielen. Last week he had a really good performance. He was quoted as saying, to him, this feels like a playoff game in a meeting of 2-0-3 teams.
I don't know how.
It's because he spent his entire career in Minnesota.
Of course.
and he wants to make this game more important than what it actually is.
Of course that's the reason. And clearly they're missing him a little bit.
They are. If Minnesota loses, the sky will fall in Minneapolis. Give me the Vikings. Just for you, Kevin. Skull.
I am also going Vikings. I don't see the Panthers winning. They could sneak one out, and if they do, I'm never picking the Vikings again this year, I swear.
Like I said the first time, you are neither hot nor cold. Once you're with the team, you're with them. And it's surprising because you're a Cowboys fan. So I'm very shocked to see that's the way you do things.
Sometimes.
Just sometimes?
Sometimes.
All right, let's move on here. Steelers and Texans, your favorite matchup, our Madden matchup from earlier. And you're kicking things off here with the yellow team, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and as I said the first time, we found out both on and off the field that, on Madden, I should say, that Kenny Pickett does not have an arm. Their offense is non-existent.
He can progress, though. I mean, he was a rookie last year.
I do think he can. I think he's got some upside to him, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. And their defense is god awful. They've got some shining points. Let
me toss you a meme that you had to see before. With the broken down house and the Corvette right next to it, and it says TJ Watt on the Steelers.
No, I did not see that.
You haven't seen that one?
No.
I'll have to show it to you.
Goodness.
But yeah, Steelers.
And my question was, I was looking up where they were ranked defensively. 27th. When's the last time we saw a 27th ranked Steelers defense? Throughout my entire lifetime, they've always been monsters.
And last week, Mike, I told you I was going to have to bring it up. The decision to kick a field goal down 8 with 3 minutes left. This is not the NFL 10 years ago.
Nope.
Where with 3 minutes left, you're going to get a stop, you're going to get the ball back, all of that. Teams have gotten so good at learning how to milk the clock. Like, it really happens. And they made that decision and end up, where they are. But the Texans, Mike, tell of two stories here. Last week, the Texans got their first victory, beating Jacksonville by 20 points. And Tank Dell is the Nico Collins of this week with 5 receptions for 145 yards. The problem in Houston, also the defense allowed over 400 yards to the Jags last week. So makes me concerned with the way the Steelers are playing. Maybe, Pickens gets going or somebody catches fire. I'm going to take the Houston Texans, the home team in this matchup. I think it's tough. And when it's tough, I usually lean towards the home team.
Yes, you do. And I also have Houston, but barely. I think as bad as the defenses are, it's going to be another defensive battle. Offense. But I can see Stroud going off.
I hope he does. Good for him. Let's continue to say that he's going to be the best quarterback of this draft class, because so far Bryce Young has struggled. And who's the other one? Is there not another rookie starting right now?
There is, and I'm pretty sure you told me him and told me to remember him, but
Colts,
told the wrong
Anthony
person.
Richardson. But he was hurt too. He already missed a game. So let's move on though to another divisional contest, Mike. Cardinals and 49ers. Last week, the Arizona Cardinals did the unthinkable and beat the Dallas Cowboys by a score of 28-16.
Yeah, rub it in.
Dakota Prescott with a interception in the red zone that really cost his team. Kaiser White goes up and snags that one. Dobbs last week, 17 of 21, 189 yards, and a touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys defense.
I don't want to talk about it.
I wrote that, and you said this too.
We said last week, easy game to pick. But of course, what does Dak do? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Throws an interception. We saw Dak from last year where he threw an interception a game minimum.
Yep. But we talked about Dobbs, man. He's proven to be a pretty good quarterback. Like, at least in his system, he's proving to be good. And I'm happy to see it. I'm glad to see it. James Conner also having a really good year. I've never been high on James Conner. Last week, almost 100 yards. Pretty good performance. They forced one turnover and went 50% on third down against the
maybe the Steelers
Dallas
want
Cowboys.
Conner back.
Maybe, but they took Najee Harris in the first round. That's on them. You have the 49ers in this matchup, though.
I do.
Tell us about San Francisco.
There's not enough to talk about them with. They've been absolutely amazing this year.
I think we can already say, Mike, 49ers, Eagles, NFC Championship.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I can't dispute it so far. Hopefully that doesn't change because when I was a kid, I was a Joe Montana fan. So, Jerry Rice fan.
God, you're old.
Yes, I'm old. I did get to watch them play there at their end of their careers, though. Third in defense so far this year. Right behind, of course, Buffalo.
Amazing. Defense is crazy. Nick Bosa, the linebackers are crazy. And because the front seven is so good, even though the secondary isn't the best, it makes them look better.
Yeah. Crazy. And then let's talk about the offense. Purdy, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Looking pretty good.
Yes, he is. And you know what? He's one of 3 quarterbacks this year that has 0 interceptions.
He's also never lost in the regular season.
Never? Wow. Mr. Irrelevant has never lost in the regular season?
Yep.
That is impressive. Impressive.
There's a stat you didn't have. Just for you, buddy.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with it, man. Holy crap.
Just for you, buddy.
Wow.
Divisional game. I'm not going to say it's easy because the Cardinals are weird, but I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers this week. Is there a world where the Cardinals win? If I say yes right now, it's going to be a blowout. If I say no, it's going to be close. So I'm not going to answer that question, even though I asked it myself. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. And I literally wrote that down. I don't want to say easy victory because I slept on them last week. But
First
I'm going
all,
Niners.
This helmet keeps hitting me in the spine.
I'll move it.
I already have back problems.
I'll rearrange for next show. Stop whining.
You're making me laugh, and it's forcing me backwards. We got one more game on the slate for you guys, and I hate both teams. New England Patriots at Dallas Cowboys. Last week, I didn't pick the Patriots. Mike did. Maybe that's the reason I lost. Who knows? Cowboys obviously did lose. I'm talking about the New England Patriots this week as much as it hurts me to do so. Mac Jones last week went 15 of 29, 201 yards and a score against the New York Jets. I wrote that that's average at best. The completion percentage leaves to be desired. The yards, obviously not where they need to be for a starting quarterback in today's NFL. But feed Zeke is in effect, Mike. 80 yards last week, averaging 5 yards per carry. Do you think he's still got some left in the tank?
Bill Belichick brings the best out of a lot of people. He's taken half of Buffalo's team during the crap years and turned their careers around.
I don't think he's going to get the best out of Zeke, though. Zeke's prime is not going to be touched.
He's going to get the best that he can out of him, though. And maybe this is the best that he can. So
very possible, but the defense in New England, very strong. 5th in total defense, of course, well coached. Bill Belichick, possibly the best coach in NFL history. But Mike, with the Patriots, it is quite possibly the least talented team in the league in terms of premier positions. Quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. All of those guys would not be number ones anywhere else. Mac Jones, who do we want to call it? Juju? Is Juju the number one? And then Hunter Henry.
Maybe, former number 2 even on the Steelers, right?
But is he the number 1? Would you consider in New England right now? He's got to be,
so.
right?
I guess so.
And then Hunter Henry at tight end isn't what he used to be when he was with the Chargers. So they lack talent overall. And you remember what Bill Belichick said after the last Super Bowl? He said, when you go all in, it's going to hurt later. And right now it's proving to hurt the New England Patriots, even though they did win last week. Tell me about whoever you're talking about.
Oh, we already talked. You should be happy to talk about them this week. They did poorly against a.
I'm not as much of a Cowboys hater as I let on.
Yeah.
I need to pump it up.
He loves messing with me too. So.
I do, and I love Micah, and that's why he's in this graphic.
I don't know if I already said it on the show, but my lovely 6-year-old all on her own.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Yep.
Yeah, so nobody likes the Cowboys, but you did. Yeah, I did. That's right. Oh my goodness.
Still fun.
But yeah, Dak 25 of 40. He actually had almost 250 yards, 249 yards, but he still threw that interception.
Stats can be
deceiving. Tony Pollard, he took off. He had over 120 yards.
Maybe the reason Melissa won in her fantasy football game.
Yes, probably. I mean, but everything else, it's just been average on offense.
Average at best. Remember the game against the Giants that they won 40-0? Dak's numbers in that, terrible.
Yep.
Dak's numbers the next week, terrible. Do you remember the conversation we had upstairs a couple minutes ago? Dak's not even top 10 anymore. We really don't know where he falls.
No, I'm not sure. He's definitely taken a big fall, and it kind of sucks because I've always been a Dak supporter. But
there's talent. There's talent there. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. What is going on? What is not clicking for the Dallas Cowboys?
His window seems to have closed. And I'm not going to completely close it. There might be a crack open.
Well, let me ask you this. If you're eliminated from the playoffs come December, do you start Trey Lance?
Yeah.
You do?
I would.
Okay.
I think I would. Why not? Let's see what he's got. But that's not how it's going to happen. That's not how Jerry Jones thinks.
Oh, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to be in the playoff race all the way till the end of the year. Even though they lost to Arizona, I think this team is still very good. With that being said, I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to beat the New England Patriots this week.
Dallas's defense, even without Diggs, and they showed that it hurt last week. It's missing him.
Get well soon, Trayvon.
Yes, sir. He's gonna mess Mac Jones up, and by he I say Parsons. So I'm going Dallas.
The fact that you still never say Micah Parsons confuses the hell out of me. Guys, we want to thank you for tuning in to our 5-game prediction this week. Don't miss the KellyCast Quick Picks on tomorrow's live show at noon. This is Mike Kelly. I'm Dan Kelly, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.